This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. What you just heard there, in case you don't know, was the solo from the 1971 song by JJ Cale, Call Me the Breeze. I've had a few requests to do JJ's stuff and that song in particular, so I thought it was about time I got round to doing it, and that was my humble attempt at recreating the fantastic solo from the song. Anyway, that's what it sounds like. Now let's have a look at what's actually going on in the solo.
Solo explanation.
Okay then, let's take a look at what we got going on here. It won't take long because it's pretty simple all in all. Essentially what we've got here is a 12-bar blues. More on that in a moment, whether it actually is a 12-bar blues or not. But basically, the key, first of all. Now, playing along with the original track, if you try playing along in F sharp, kind of starting like with this sort of boogie shuffle kind of thing here, then you'll find that you're actually a little bit flat compared to the track. So, move it up a semitone to G, and you're actually a little bit sharp compared to the track. So it's kind of in that sort of no man's land where this is too flat and this is too sharp. This was a track that was recorded in the days before everybody had electronic tuners, so, it's not quite at concert pitch, basically. You just take your guitars out the case and tune up to each other, essentially. So I plump for the idea that this song is probably in G, because that's just a more guitar-friendly, just intuitively a more guitar-orientated key. So that's the way I've done it. And is it a 12-bar blues or not? Well, it depends how you count it. In the tab, if you get that from my Patreon page, you can see I've done it as a 24-bar blues, because you can either count it as sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, at 180 beats per minute, or you can count it as kind of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and at 90 beats per minute. And for me, I went with the faster tempo because paradoxically it makes it easier to count, the timing of the licks, because everything is just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And whereas if you go at the slower tempo, 90 beats per minute, you're counting it at that, then there's a lot more 16th notes, 1E and a 2E and a kind of things going on. So it's just easier if you're practicing some of the licks up to a metronome, up to speed with a metronome. It's just easier if you've only got to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Basically G7, C7 and D7, with a strong element of that boogie shuffle kind of thing. So what scale are we going to be using over this? Well, no surprises for guessing that it is by and large the G minor pentatonic. And most of the action takes place in pattern 1 of the pentatonic scale at the 15th fret. There's a couple of interesting things where we get other notes coming in, and there's a little bit at the end of the solo I want to talk about as well. But let's have a look at an interesting little device that is used in a couple of places in this solo. It's called scale sequencing, and basically here's a lick here that uses it. So I'll play it nice and slow. It's going... Okay, so There's an extra note cropping up there at the end. We'll come to that in a moment. But basically, if I was to come down the G minor pentatonic scale, I would have like that and so on. And what's happening is we're playing this note at the 18th fret and then missing this note out and coming to this note here. So we get, then we go back to this note, the one that we've missed out, and if I was to come down the scale from there, I would go like this, like that, but we miss out this note. So I get, so you're starting to get, and then continuing that down, like that. There's a very similar part in the Hotel California solo, which I won't play for obvious reasons. I want to keep this video monetized. But basically, that little scale sequencing thing is the core of that lick. Then we come on to this note here, this B note. Where's that coming from? Well, it is, if I move it down here, let's get the glare off the fretboard. If I move it down here, it's, you can see, it's just the major third of that G7 chord, the chord we're playing over at that given moment. So, G minor pentatonic. You know, that happens quite a few times in the solo where we're going from the minor third that's in the minor pentatonic to the major third that's in the chord. And we do it again on another lick here, but over a different chord. You can see the 17th fret note here. Where's that coming from? Well, that's an E note. So if I move that down there, you can see how that's a note from the C7 chord. So this little lick here goes, you know, that's the only note that's not in the G minor pentatonic that, you know, is in that little lick, but it's important. It's a conscious choice that has been made to play that note rather than that note, which would be the F note, which is in the pentatonic scale. You know, this note here is quoting directly from the C7 chord that's happening at the time. A little bit of chord note targeting, and as I say, that's something that, you know, is a theme that runs throughout the whole solo. So the rest of the solo is, as I say, just pretty much G minor pentatonic, based on that pattern there, a little bit going up into the position 2 for one little part, where we do, again, almost that sort of chord note targeting thing again, going for the third, but over the D7 chord, we've got this F sharp note here. Okay, and up here, that an octave higher, that would be there. And if we bend it slightly, that F, which is in pattern 2 of the G minor pentatonic, approaches the F sharp, and you know, that is something that's happening over the D7 chord. We also get, we'll come down a little bit into essentially what is pattern 5 of G minor pentatonic in the closing stages of the solo, and this D note here gets bent up to the E note, which is once again a C7 chord note when the C7 arrives. So it's essentially G minor pentatonic, might have mentioned that already, with a bunch of chord notes just being dropped in and kind of hinted at throughout the solo, just to kind of make it sound a little bit more, I don't know, kind of melodic, tuneful, relevant to the chords. And then the solo concludes with this little basically double stop kind of thing here. You can see I'm using hybrid picking, and whenever you've got using sixths like this, because this B note here, you go 6 notes up the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the scale in question being the G mixolydian mode. 6 notes up from that B note there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the G, and then we just play pairs of notes that are 6 scale steps apart, to create that sort of sound. And it starts like that. Just nice little chromatic sort of touch there, putting, kind of closing the gap or filling the hole between that pair of notes that are in the scale and that pair of notes that are in the scale, just by very, very widely used little trick in blues. So that is basically a short summary of what's going on in this fantastic solo from a great song. I'm glad, I can't remember who it was, but somebody just got in touch with me and said, would I do this solo? And I'm glad you did, because I've enjoyed putting it together. So there you go. Take some of these licks, some of these ideas, and go away and have some fun with them. And there is, of course, a full tab, as usual, in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing the solo, that little explanation clip that you've just seen there, and the jam track to play along with so you can have a go for yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is, as always, in the description. It is only $3 or £2.50 a month, and you get access to all of these extra resources that go along with these YouTube lessons that I do. I want to say a massive, massive thank you to everybody who supports me in that way or any of the other ways, all of which are linked downstairs in the description. And that is pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video, found it useful, informative, and perhaps a little bit inspiring. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not give me a like while you're at it? Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we sit and have a few beers and talk about music and guitars and all manner of other stuff, whatever crops up, basically. What a fantastic way to kick off the weekend. I would love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.